Welcome to the very first coffee chat with Frankie J. And these coffee chats are just going to be random thoughts or ideas or things that are on my mind that I want to discuss and to talk about. And I would love for y'all to interact with me, so make sure that you're asking any questions that you have. If you have a comment about something that I'm speaking about, make sure that you put that in the comments and I will try my best to answer it, or we may address it on the next coffee chat. Let's get started. First, let's talk about what we're drinking. I hope that you have your coffee or your favorite beverage in your hand, and today I cheated. I went to Starbucks, and this is actually the Violet drink, and it has vanilla cold cream and matcha powder, and it is so good. Right now, that's my favorite drink of the season. Not really coffee, but it came from a coffee franchise. All right, so if you notice behind me, there are pictures on the wall of my wedding day to my husband, and we've been married for a while now, so we're kind of like old news. Like, it really doesn't even matter to most people anymore, but it matters to me. And so yes, today I'm going to talk to you about love, because recently one of my good friends actually got married, and I know that you know people who are getting married all the time. This one was super special because she and I went through that time together of when we were actually alone and really wanting to be married because we were old. And by old, I mean in our heads we had planned that we were going to get married by like 25. And so after you hit that 30 mark, you're just like, okay, Jesus, like, what is really going on? Well, something she and I both have in common, we ain't settling. And we may have had to like hang out with a couple of frogs before we found our one, but we finally found the one. And we wanted to make sure that, you know, it was something that was gonna last. Like marriage is super serious to us. So she and I had prayed together. When you're seeking God's will for marriage, like, it can be a lonely road. It can be super hard. So anyways, of course you guys know that I'm married, and this recently she got married, and y'all, it was so amazing. Like, it was so great. I just feel like marriages are like under attack. Like, there's always something going on, and it feels like you hear of divorce so much till when you hear of somebody getting engaged, it almost feels like it doesn't have the same weight that it used to. You know, hearing some of my friends or associates talk, people have just lost the drive. People don't believe in real love anymore, and people expect the worst to happen. Not saying that those things won't happen, because everybody's situation is completely different. But for those of y'all that are out there and single and you're praying, it's so weird coming out of my mouth, because when I was 30 and people were like, oh, you know, God's got somebody for you, or my husband is in the background pointing to himself. Anyways, he'd be like, you know, God's got somebody for you, it's gonna happen in his time. Like, all of those things are very true, but I didn't want to hear it, because you married, you got 4 or 5 kids, and you telling me, hold on. But I don't think that you should settle. Like, absolutely not. You should not settle. Like, be alone before you settle. You want to wait for the one that God has for you. So I think by my friend actually finding love and waiting on the one that God had for her, and with it being 2021, for me, it just hit me really hard, because I was just like, you know what? Like, I know it, like, in my head that God answers prayers. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I know that. But watching it happen for somebody else, knowing how hard the journey was for me, that was so special. One day, my husband and I will do a video on how we met and our journey and all of that, Lord's willing. But I'm just saying that to see it happen this day and time, to hear all the negativity and for someone to still find love, the place that we are right now, it just was, sincerely, it was beautiful. And it just made me smile so much. I don't know, like, I could see God in the entire thing, because I had been at points where, you know, we were both praying and both wishing, and we both had these ideas, and we also both had a timeline, which you can kick that out the window. Like, forget it. Don't put a timeline on whatever it is that you're going through. But what I can tell you is if you wait, that when God gives it to you, it's going to be so much better than you could ever imagine. I mean, I understand that this video is not going to be for everybody, but I also know for a fact that there are some people that are watching this that have this idea, and actually there's a couple people that actually asked me about it, so that's why I thought about it. As you know, also because we just came back from this fabulous wedding, which was probably one of the funnest weddings that I've ever been to in my entire life. And I'm actually going to add some clips in here so that y'all can see some of the festivities. It was so nice. The singing was wonderful. And then just the whole entire weekend was amazing. Okay, so before I tell y'all about the wedding, what I want to say, and it's so funny because I tried to get my husband to come on this video, and he wouldn't do it. But he's back here giving me pointers, telling me what not to leave out. But he did make a really good point. He said, you know, when you're in that period of waiting and you think you found someone or whatever the case may be, he was basically saying, like, close out the noise. Because we had a lot of noise. And had he and I not been on the same page about where we were going and what our future was going to look like, we probably wouldn't be together now, honestly. So, they're going to be so, I don't know why people are so negative. Like, I don't understand it. It's not in my DNA. I don't know how that works, but people can be extremely negative during the happiest points of your life, or when you should be the happiest. I'm guessing it's probably like human nature, maybe. I don't really know, because I can't speak on that because I'm not that way. I don't know. But you have to learn to tune out the noise. You have to learn to be able to decipher who is there to help you and then who is there just to rain on your parade. And there will be people that genuinely have your best interest in heart, and I think that God will give you the discernment to know who those people are. But then there are some that may appear that way and they're really not. Like, I went through a lot of that, and I'm just thankful that my husband was supportive, and he actually was able to help me shut out so much of the noise. And remember, when you're praying for something, you're gonna have to go through a lot to get to what you're asking God for. So make sure that you have a clear understanding of your goals, your end goals. Whoever you're talking to, make sure that you both are on the same page, because I mean, it's just a part of life. Be clear with God and your path and what you're supposed to do and where you're supposed to be going. And then you just filter those comments, you know, in whatever category that they go in. But I wanted to tell y'all about this weekend really quickly. So my husband and I, we did not have our little, which I thought was going to be really hard, but we were actually okay. We went down the day of the wedding, and it was an African wedding. And if y'all haven't been to one before, I'm telling you, you missing out. Get you some African friends, because you need to go to one. Everything is so colorful, which I love, 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 love. A beautiful day. It was an outside wedding in a garden. The bride was so pretty. She looked so wonderful in her dress, and maybe one day I'll actually have her on here so that she can tell y'all her journey, because it was way different from mine, and it was 12 times different than what we actually thought it was going to be. Like, there were some amazing singers. The singing was crazy. So many talented people in this world. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, the wedding was in these gardens. So we did that, and then we went to cocktail hour, which was at the reception hall. She had it set up so pretty. Like, there was a photo booth. There was also a place where you could give your best regards to them. There was like this donut chandelier with fruit. Oh, it was amazing. So, like, when you walk through to the main event, you open the doors. It was just like a fairy tale. A dance floor, and then there was actually like a couch for Mr. and Mrs., but it was so fancy. It was so pretty. The table settings were beautiful. There were like jewels everywhere, and the colors were so vibrant. And they played African music, African music. They had some worship music. Like, all of the songs were tailored towards the things that they had gone through. There was just love in the air because you could tell they were so grateful to God for bringing them together. A lot of the people wore African attire, and it was just so beautiful. I was just so excited because I knew what she had been through, and it literally was like a big old sign. It was just like, hey, God is still answering prayers. God is still working regardless of what's going on around us, regardless of the madness. Like, he's still in control. He's still answering prayers. Like, he hears you. And just because you don't understand what's going on around you, or just because the future looks dim in some ways, it doesn't mean you have to settle. And you should not settle. When God does it, he does all things perfect. The entire weekend was a good feeling. The next morning, we actually went to church. There were people there from different places that had come to the wedding. And so we just enjoyed it so much. Like, the service was so good. The singing was so good.
I am so glad to be here. So glad to be here. How did you say you brought me through this? You brought me through that? How many grateful people we got in the building? Oh, Lord, and you brought me through that. Yeah. Lord, and Lord, come on, how many grateful people? Yes, I am. To you. Come on, y'all help me out. You brought me through. Put your hands on it.
Have you ever felt you feel love or Jesus just like wrapping you in the biggest hug? Like, that's what it felt like. And I really didn't want it to end. I'm sad. Like, I tried to keep that high all week long. It was so good. To after service, Hubs and I just kind of like sat on the pew. The musicians were still playing and some people were still singing, and we just sat there until the very end. Like, we were soaking it all up. It was so great. And I was gonna say too, like, at one time when the congregation was singing and the song leader like had all the musicians to stop, and it was just like the drums and then everybody singing, and I like closed my eyes, and you could hear all the different dialects from different people, but we were all singing the same thing. And I just, at one point I was just like, man, this is what heaven's gonna be like. Like, it was really, really great. And it was a weekend that we needed, so we were super excited. And all, it was just a phenomenal weekend that we needed. And we can thank my friend for having this beautiful wedding and bringing everybody together, so that we could even experience this. My Ely, William, we love y'all so much. We're so excited for y'all, and we can't wait to double date. And
congratulations, and I pray that both of y'all have just the best marriage.
He's so sweet. We're so happy for y'all. We can't wait to double date, and we hope you guys are having a wonderful honeymoon. And this one is dedicated to y'all. So anyways, this is my whole little segment on love. Maybe I can get hubby in here for us to do one together in the future. Great. So if you still have your cup, mine is halfway gone, but let's cheers to the very first coffee chat. It's been so much fun. I'm looking forward to communicating with y'all. Comment below, let me know what you think. You can also let me know what other videos you'd like for me to do, and I will definitely tuck those into the memory bank. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, and you can also click that little notification bell that will let you know every time I post a new video. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will see you next time.